The 82-0 season is officially strong. The Avs get the big win, 4-1 over LA on opening night away from Ball Arena. They come home on Thursday evening in front of not the Utah Hockey Club, but the Utah Mammoth, and a 2-1 victory as the Avs squeak one out. Scott Wedgwood was phenomenal yet again in his second straight start as Mackenzie Blackwood comes back from a off-season injury. Mark Springers, we welcome you guys into Episode 2, Season 8 of Between the Pipes here on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5's Twitter and YouTube. Spring, it is such a blessing to have a goaltender like Scott Wedgwood just to be able to call on at a moment's notice.
Raj, he's the best goaltender in the NHL right now. and he has the advantage of having started 2 games. A lot of the league, like some teams just played their first game here tonight, but through 2 starts, let me look up his numbers here, and then I gotta, if you can look up the league goaltending leaders right now, because Scott Wedgwood, oh gosh, it's not updated on ESPN.com. I hate you, ESPN.com, but I can tell you, Game 1 obviously got the win in LA, 960 save percentage, and here tonight he gets another win. He's 2-0. He had a 969. Very nice. A 969 save percentage. His goals against is 1. The GAA is 1. Raj, do you have those NHL goaltending leaders?
I mean, I sure do, considering a lot of these guys just have, 1 game under their belt.
It doesn't matter.
So he's not going to be at the top of that because Archer Seelovs over in Pittsburgh had a Game 1 shutout against the New York Rangers for the Penguins. Cam Talbot has stopped every shot that he's faced, as has Philip Gustafsson in Minnesota. So all 3 of those guys have a perfect 1,000
starts.
No.
That's damn right. Scotty's got 2 under his belt.
Yeah, listen, he's great
Vezina,
right now.
Raj. We're talking Vezina. We're starting the campaign here tonight.
He was phenomenal, and it helps to have a backup goaltender that you can simply just rely upon. And it's not just in injury settings, right? This allows Jared Bednar to not have to run his goaltenders ragged throughout the regular season. You can utilize Scott Wedgwood not for 15 games, not for 20 games. You can utilize him for 25 if you want to, and keep Mackenzie Blackwood completely healthy for when you need him most, when April and May and June roll around. He was great. I counted 5 grade A scoring chances that he made saves on. He had a breakaway, a shorthanded opportunity, 2 2-on-1s that he stopped on the backside, and a couple of them in the third period where the Avs were, I wouldn't say they were playing with their food. I just don't think that the Avs had their best this evening. Utah's a good team. I picked them to make the playoffs in our preseason or our NHL season preview after Game 1 against the Kings. It's a good team. I don't think the Avs brought their best, but Wedgwood did.
Well, hey, you know, I was a little low on the Kings. Shout out to them last night. They go into Vegas. They come back. They win that thing in overtime. 6-5, I believe. Okay, so I can do some math here. A 960 save percentage and a 969 save percentage in each of his first 2 games. Add that up, divide it by 2. 964.5. Okay. Sergei Bobrovsky has 2 starts under his belt. He's 2-0. He has a 923 save percentage, a 151 goals against. Scotty's a 1 on the goals against. He's the best goaltender in the NHL right now. He's the best goaltender in the NHL. What a trade, too. Think about the trade. Acquiring him from Nashville in the early portions of last season for Justus Onanen and a 6th round pick. Screw that 6th round pick. That 6th round pick can go all the way to wherever. I want to say something bad, but I'm not going to say it. Okay.
It can kick rocks.
Yes. Justus Onanen is backing up UC Saros, who had a very good start for Nashville tonight as they beat Columbus 2-1. And Justus, that's a good situation for him. Young Finnish goaltender who I liked, you liked, but he gets to play behind UC Saros, who's a more veteran Finnish goaltender. You got the two Finns. He gets to learn. He gets to marinate. He gets to develop under a more veteran Finn. And the Avs were win now. They needed a win now goaltender, really more of a backup, a very good, an excellent backup in Scott Wedgwood. But Justus Onanen couldn't do this. I mean, because he's not a vet like Scott Wedgwood. He's not proven. He's not tried. He's not tested. He's not true. So when a Mackenzie Blackwood is hurt, you can throw Scott Wedgwood in there and you get pretty damn good goaltending.
Yeah, it's something that Jared Bednar and this Avalanche team have not really had since Pavel Francouz was on this team, was the ability to just go, oh, we're going to be just fine if this guy can't play or if he's going through a rough stretch. You don't have to worry about running guys out there for 70 games. And it's not, it doesn't happen in the NHL anymore. Like there's so many more 1A, 1B scenarios than there are these Marty Brodeur guys who go out and start 72 games. I, I think it allows you to ease Blackwood back in. Like, what happens if you have the start that you did last year, right? I tweeted out the first game where they have the 8 goals let in. Yes, there was an empty netter against Vegas, but they famously lost 4 straight to start last year, and all of it was because of bad goaltending. What if they had the same start this year? If Wedgwood goes in for the first 2 games, LA pounds him for 6 goals, then you come back home against Utah and he lets in a couple of squeaky ones, and instead of a 2-1 win where your goaltender stars, it's a 3-2 loss where you go, well, we didn't play well, but look at those 2 goals that happened from below the goal line. Are you kidding me? Then you start to rush Mackenzie Blackwood in, and you have to worry about, well, is this injury going to pop around in December, in January? Is this injury going to keep him away from competing for a Team Canada goaltending slot? Having Wedgwood here allows you to go, I don't have to rush him back. Do I
Sure.
need to have him against Dallas? Dallas is a damn good hockey team. Don't get me wrong. Do
Oh,
you need him against Dallas?
And Wedgwood's a former star, and I love the revenge games. I love and Wedgwood's played for several teams, Dallas being one of them. I love the revenge factor. I love when a guy can go try to scorn one of his former teams. And I mean, the way he's played in these first 2 starts, and look, here's the thing. Overall, Mackenzie Blackwood has the tools. He's in the prime of his career. Wedgie's a little older than Mackenzie. Blackwood has the profile. Like he can be and has shown, and really going back to that final season he had with the Sharks, and certainly last year with the Avs, as he came into his own in those last 2 years, that he can be a bona fide 1. So I'm not saying that Scott Wedgwood supplants Mackenzie Blackwood by any sense, but you're right, Raj. You don't have to rush him back. And sometimes you just go with the hot hand. And right now, Scott Wedgwood is the hot hand. And given that Blackwood is coming back from injury, there's not a doubt in my mind. It's an easy decision. Scott Wedgwood is starting on Saturday night against the Dallas Stars. I don't think maybe Blackwood would have been ready to go. Even if he would have been, you still just go with the hot hand. He might not be. He's probably not ready to go. No matter the scenario, he's a former star. He's been lights out. And I mean lights out. Excellent in his first 2 starts. He's your starter on Saturday night in whatever the scenario is. And I love Mackenzie Blackwood. He's the one. When he comes back and he's healthy and he's ready, this is Blackwood's job. But Wedgwood's starting on Saturday night no matter what.
Yeah, you can convince me of that for sure. We'll get back into Wedgwood. We'll hear from him in just a couple of seconds as we get his post-game interview in the locker room loaded up here. But let's go to the first goal of the game. And it's funny. It's game 2 of the season, and the Avs might not score a prettier goal than they did earlier on in this one. Ross Colton, bang bang play, a gorgeous cross-ice saucer pass from Victor Olofsson, the little one-touch back from Jack Drury. It was a gorgeous zone entry. Colton doesn't miss, starts the Avs off hot. The building absolutely erupts. It wasn't nearly as big as the applause that they gave for Gabriel Landeskog when he was introduced at player intros prior to, as they do for every home opener, the big fanfare of starting the season. Landeskog got the biggest cheer of the night. But holy smokes, was that a cool goal.
Hey, credit to Sam Girard for the boards pass through the neutral zone to Victor Olofsson. What a sauce pass from Victor Olofsson. That's playmaking right there. And we saw his wrist shot unleashed a little later in the game where he missed wide, hit the end boards, and it, man, had a good sound to it. He's got a hell of a shot to him. But what a sauce pass. And sometimes, what's been one of the criticisms of Colorado? It's been overpassing. Well, yes, sometimes they overpass, but sometimes that's how you set yourself up for a better look is when you give that extra pass because the goaltender, in this case, Karel Vejmelka, is, anticipating one thing. He's anticipating, he's first of all, he's thinking Olofsson might shoot that thing right away because he's got the shot. But Olofsson goes sauce to Jack Drury, and now he's thinking that's cross ice. Now I gotta account for Drury. Now I gotta move left to right. Okay, but Drury makes the extra pass, and it creates space for Ross Colton. This is an instance where the overpassing, the extra passing, this is why it actually can be, and I think largely is a good thing. I know the Avs get criticized for it, but it really can create those better looks. It really does. It gets the goaltender moving that extra beat. And Ross Colton, man, he had a great start last year. He had a great start last year. I love that player when he came over from Tampa. Loved him with his time with the Lightning. Great. I mean, the third line was the best line for
I agree.
Colorado through at least two periods.
I agree. I wonder whether or not if Colton doesn't get injured, does he play better in the postseason? Yeah, I
Sure.
know. I know the injury and the postseason are so far removed from one another, right? Like Colton, as you mentioned, goes nutso through his first 20 games of the season or first handful of games of the season when he scored 9 goals. I think it was through 20 games. Gets injured, longer term injury, and he just was never the same type of flashy player that we saw in October and early November until that injury happened. I wonder if he doesn't get injured. Is he going to score 40 goals that season? No, he's not. But if he doesn't get injured, does he kind of continue the consistency? And then the playoffs come around, and instead of nobody scoring, well, at least Ross Colton pops in a goal or two in a really big situation, and you get past Dallas. Awesome goal. Was totally fine with the extra pass. Try and find a way to take all of the guesswork out of scoring a goal. And if that means you get to make one extra one touch, I'm okay with that. Now on the power play, it can get a little bit frustrating. I think the Avs are still tinkering around. There's still a little bit more movement than there was last year. Certainly with Dave Hackstall taking it over, they scored another power play goal. So I know they're not scoring all the time, and there's a few power plays in there where the ones don't really get anything going. Spring, but 2 games, 2 power play goals. You're running at what 20% right now. I think they're 2 of 10. I'm okay with it to start.
I just want to say one more thing about Ross Colton in particular and the third line overall. Um, Look, Ross, when he started with the Avs and when he was playing with Tampa as a center, he's a center, but now he's playing wing. And that really started when they trade. Well, first of all, Ross had to play top six to start last year because they were so banged up. But then they trade for Charlie Coyle. Ross is your wing on the third line, and he stays on the wing now. And they've elevated Jack Drury, and that's a savvy play from Jack Drury to understand where Ross is and to know that he can make that extra touch. And Jack's been great in the faceoff circle as well. I like Ross on the wing. I think he actually is. I think he can thrive on the wing. I think that actually might be more of his area than 3C. So it's so important that Jack Drury can really assume that 3C role. And so far through 2 games, I mean, I talk about his faceoff numbers, and I mean they're great. And the little setup to Ross. I mean, if Jack can do that, then I think Ross is their best bottom six player. He's the best player on that third line, therefore the best player in the bottom six. Ross Colton is the guy who needs to eat. I think Olofsson's going to score goals because that's what he does. But overall, like total skill set offensively, Ross Colton is their best third line or their best bottom six, best third line player.
Yeah, I think you hit that spot on. Maybe if Olofsson is scoring at a clip where he's close to 30 goals, you can make the argument for Olofsson. Colton is paid like the best player in the bottom six, but he needs to play to that clip. Do I love what Logan O'Connor brings to the table? Yes, but he doesn't have the same offensive upside that
Exactly.
a Ross Colton does. You brought him here for his postseason experience, coming over from Tampa Bay. He just needs to stay healthy. I, I I thought because of that price point, I go, you have to force him into center, right? Like if he's going to make 4 million and only play in the bottom six, and then maybe float in the middle six, like he gets a few minutes with the twos if there's an injury or a suspension or someone's not playing well. I guess I can be okay with that. That's the reason why I was like, okay, Ross Colton is the middle of your third line because you want to keep Jack Drury, Logan O'Connor, and Parker Kelly together, where you kind of have two centermen there. Like Parker Kelly and Jack Drury are the same guy. If you can keep Parker Kelly as the center of your fourth line for now, you kind of cross the Logan O'Connor bridge when you get to it, and that's a rich person problem for the Avs.
Yeah, Jack Drury tonight wins 15 faceoffs.
He's a freak.
15. Only lost 6, 71.4% tonight. Out of 21 faceoffs. That's elite and the nice assist. All right, let's talk about the power play. Let's talk about the power play. You said it, Raj. 2 for 10. Natchez scored quick off a draw, and I think their fourth and final power play of the Kings game there in the third period a couple nights ago. Tonight, it was one of their later power plays as well in the third period of this game. Nathan MacKinnon scores, but Raj, what was the difference? There was one difference on this, and this was the only of their 10 power plays. This is the one. This is the one where Gabe Landeskog was out there to start the power play with PP1. PP1. And who should be net front on Nathan MacKinnon's goal to create the screen in front of Amelka? Well, it's Gabe Landeskog. Now, they had at least one power play after that, and I think it was just one. They did not put Landeskog out there with power play 1.
I was okay with the looks on the final power play, though. I thought they moved the puck well in the final power play. I out of the 10 power plays that they've had this year, they've scored on 2 of them. Now, one was very quick. The other one was a minute in, right? I think the MacKinnon goal was somewhere near a minute in. It was essentially a rush goal. You just get into the zone. Makar is able to get out of the corner and find MacKinnon dashing in there Natchez gets the zone entry. Makar's in the corner. I think half of their power plays have looked good, right? You've got goals on 20% of them. I think 5 of the 10 you've gotten decent looks at, and 5 of the 10 you haven't.
Well, here's what I find so interesting about how they have constructed this power play under Dave Haxtell. And I think it's also due to their personnel. And I want to say I think the reason it took until I think the 9th power play of the year. And so they're 1 of 8 to that point. To see Landeskog out there with power play 1. And I talked about this on the last show that, I'd love to see him net front on power play 1. Well, I think the reason that it took until the 9th power play was that they're easing this guy in. They're easing him in. Let's see. Against the Kings, Landeskog played. Let me go back to the box score because I had the team stats up here. Landeskog, it was something 11 something. He played 11-12. Just 11 minutes and 12 seconds against the Kings. Tonight against the Mammoth, a little bit more. He had 90 seconds of power play time. Gabe Landeskog plays 14 minutes, 23 seconds. So a little bit of an increase. That's what I like to see right there. But granted, I want him to take it as necessary, slow if necessary, and it seems necessary. And they didn't have him out there for their final power play because they don't want to gas this dude out. They don't want to do more with him than they have to in games 1 and 2. Games 1 and 2 of an 82 game season. This is a build. I do think that ultimately they need him net front because Raj, here's what I'm noticing with their power play. Okay. It's like a box in 1. It's a square. It's maybe Natchez is down low left. MacKinnon is up right high. Those two can switch. I've seen them switch. You have Makar on the high right side. You have Nelson low left side. You have Lehkonen in the middle. You don't really have they're kind of floating Natchez towards the net a little bit, but Natchez is a little timid in terms of being that big physical body, a la a Landeskog or even a Nichushkin, who are just working net front, pushing bodies, just getting position. Lehkonen can do that, but he's undersized. He's like 5'8", 5'10", somewhere in there. He's much more suited to be in that bumper position. I think part of the reason we've seen the power play be a little stagnant is a lack of a net front presence. A true net front presence.
I'm cool with Landeskog being on that top unit. I believe if you want to take Lehkonen out of there, you can utilize Landeskog in the bumper role that you were mentioning. If you're looking at the power play as a box plus one, the bumpers in the middle to allow the two top players on the flanks to what it essentially is. It's a safety valve. Is if what you saw out of LA and Utah tonight is when you go high, hard pressure, you need to be able to relieve the puck. And it just doesn't have to go to the corners every time, because if you go to the corners, you're able to very clearly push the pressure out as a defensive unit. What the bumper allows you to do is get the puck to the middle of the ice, a dangerous part of the ice, so that the defense then has to collapse rather than pushing out and keeping the puck to cold zones. Landeskog can be that guy. I think the power play, what you saw tonight, they're going to be successful when they score on rushes. They will be a rush power play team, or scoring off of win the face-off, set up a play, get Makar moving left to right, and then snapping a puck. I don't think they're going to be the type of team that snaps pucks around. Like if you look at the Tampa Bay power play, right? When Kucherov and Point are whipping pucks around with Victor Hedman, they can score from a standstill. I think Colorado has to score moving downhill. And if that means that Landeskog isn't really touching the puck, but he's just occupying space, I'm cool with that. Throw Lehkonen on the second power play.
No, here's the tricky thing to me is I like Lehkonen out there. I like Lehkonen in the middle bumper. He's perfect in that role. That role is for those slot one-timers. Where McKinnon on the left wing, and I like Nelson on the right wing. I think that's the right move. I talked last season about who's going to be that left-handed shot on the right side for the one-timers, and not just one-timers, for the left-handed shot on the right side, or McKinnon, the right-handed shot on the left side. Yeah, they can one-time towards net, but they can also push it to the middle of the ice. They can fake their one-timers and push it to the middle. That's where Lehkonen is so good. Hell, Ross Colton was very good in that role in the early portions last season. I like Lehkonen in that role. I like Ross Colton, if necessary, in that role. But what the Avs had done in years past is they'd have their bumper position, whether it's Lehkonen or Colton in the middle, but they'd have either Gabe or Val even deeper, just working net front. I like Marty Natchez. He brings so much to the table, and he can be a floater. But I think what they're missing right now is that big physical body who is working, and I want the bumper behind him. I want two. I want a big forward close to net, close to the crease, and I want Lehkonen, a few feet behind him in that bumper position. I don't need anybody else on the left side with Nathan McKinnon.
Yeah, you want him to run an umbrella more than a box plus one right now. That's essentially what you'd be running. You allow Makar to work up top.
Yes.
And you play pitch and catch with McKinnon with a relieve bumper up top in the middle of the circles and Landeskog net front, and then you have another release valve in the corner in Marty Natchez. You want them to run an umbrella.
I cool don't. Here's my thing, man. When Landeskog is ready to go, the way I see it, the way I'm envisioning what I want, that's just what I want. Okay, that's just what I want. I'm taking Natchez off power play one.
Really?
Yes. I'm going McKinnon left wing.
Dude, he's got too good of a shot.
Who? I know he does. But as a right-handed shot, you have Nate. Like, this is the problem. Like, Nate's that role. McKinnon is playing the role that if you didn't have Nathan McKinnon, yeah, I want Marty Natchez on that left wing. But you have Nate. It's tough. Like, it's, so for power play too, Hell, you got in my world, you got Marty Necas in the McKinnon role.
Power play too, though. You get 32 seconds.
I know. That's the thing. Power play 2 is so overrated. It's nothing.
No,
it's nothing.
In this system, you're lucky to get 25, 30 seconds of actual power play time. And if it's in the zone, good for you. Most of the time it is the power play 1 unit has spent a minute and 15 to a minute and 30. A puck gets sent down, and then you've got 30 seconds left, and you have to go 200 feet down the other side of the ice, man. D-Mac join us here. Let's get him live from Ball Arena. D-Mac, what's up, brother? Darren McKee, can you hear me?
What's up, guys?
There he is.
We're back. Hey, welcome back. We have the same technical issues we had before where I think you can see me.
Darren, you look great.
So I'll just tell you what Jared Bednar had to say, and you can say goodbye to me. But Benzie said, God bless technology, by the way. But Benzie said that they didn't have the jump that he really wanted to see. He said without Wedgie, he didn't say Wedgie, but the crowd was chanting Wedgie. Without Wedgwood, we don't have a chance in this one. He doesn't want to lean too much on Wedgwood or, frankly, any goalie, but it was funny how he put it. Like, we're not paying one guy in goal $10 million, meaning, like, we're splitting it up. So we expect a lot out of both dudes, and good, nice two performances by Wedgwood tonight. The Wedgie chant was alive. Wedgwood said that he's heard it before and he likes it. He laughed at it because of all the chants to have a name, hearing Wedgie is about as dopey as it gets. So it was a good win. But to not have as much jump as Utah is, concerning aside from its game 2, and who cares? And they got the 2-1 win. So I think Benzie would have liked to see them play a little bit better. Good to see Jack Drury in the mix, and Ross Colson was happy to be a contributor as well. Nathan McKinnon gets his first goal of the season. And we're off and running here, folks. I don't think this is going to be the most memorable of game 1 openers, but they win, and that's all that matters. So with our lousy internet, but a nice spirit and jump in our step. Good news here from Avalanche land on game number 2 and opening night. We'll see you back here on Saturday for Mikko Rantanen's return again, as we harken back to that horrible third period that eliminated the Avalanche from the playoffs last year. Boys, take it easy.
D-Mac live from Ball Arena and the horrible potato router internet that's going on over there. Yeah,
you know that all too well.
I agree with Bedsy, man. They were lackluster tonight. Again, I think Utah is a sneaky, could make the playoffs team. I definitely think they have a good enough team. I think they are scrappy enough. I think they play physical enough. I think Karel Vejmelka is without a doubt good enough to get them to an 8 seed. Now, certain things have to bounce their way. Like Minnesota has to have a bad year. There only have to be 3 teams out of the Pacific that make the playoffs this season. Like they have to have bounces go their way. So I don't think like beating Utah 2-1 at home and looking not your best is not the same as beating the Arizona Coyotes like 3 years ago in the same fashion. This is a better team. They've spent money. They're veteran. I think Clayton Keller's taken the next spot. I love Dylan Genther as well. This is a good, scrappy hockey team. This is not a cellar dweller team that is expecting to draft Gavin McKenna in next year's entry draft.
Yeah. Added Mikhail Sergachev from the Lightning, good big defenseman. A couple years ago, they did that with intention, knowing that they had a group that was on the verge of competing, probably not winning a cup, but competing, and that would be a win for them if they could make the playoffs, and they absolutely could. They absolutely could get one of those wild card spots. Put me back on the screen.
I something popped up on the screen. I hit it. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to get my video clips up on here. It's gone away. Now that I'm working on my iPad right now, instead of my work computer is actually back at altitude and it's not here at home because people need some of the stuff that I utilize. So I'm working on my iPad and I can't use all of the videos that are on my iPad right now of like Scott Wedgwood speaking to the media because it's not in MP4. That's the reason why I'm having some technical issues there. But once I get my work computer back, we will be in business.
Yeah, hell, I cannot wait.
Once I'm off of maternity or parental leave, we're in business.
Paternity.
That's a word.
You gave birth to a baby, Raj.
I
You
did
did
not
it
give.
all by
I
yourself.
didn't do a damn thing, man. I
Can you
sat
believe
back
it?
and had a. I didn't do
You
a
have a
damn
taco?
thing.
Um,
Hold on. I didn't talk about this.
we haven't talked
Before
about
we
my
move
Taco
on,
Bell 50K. We don't have to
if
talk
you
much
guys
about
didn't
it.
know about this, Mark Springer, tell the people what you did last weekend, because in my opinion, it's the most impressive athletic feat that anyone employed by Altitude Sports, radio or television, has pulled off. I include Tyler Columbus winning Super Bowl 50. I include the 1984 gold medal that Chris Marlowe got in beach volleyball. I include now Eric Johnson was on the.
I was gonna say Eric Johnson, and dude, okay, we had Eric Johnson on. We had him on earlier this week. He's done a couple interviews, but he was in like player Eric Johnson mode. He was great.
Yeah.
Like his interviews are so good. But he made his debut as a color commentator tonight, and he was in. I could tell he was in color commentator mode all day. I can tell this because, and I'm sure he had some nerves because it's a different beast, Raj. Being in the
Oh, it is.
media, talking into these microphones, this is a different beast. Welcome to the life, Eric. But I asked Connor McGahee, I was like, hey, dude, can you come on with Nate and Andy, final segment of the show? And he was like, hey, yeah, Eric Johnson's with us. And I had seen that, but I kind of forgot for some reason. And he was like, yeah, EJ can come on too. I was like, great, awesome. So Connor and Eric come on. Dude, Eric was hilarious.
Yeah, I'm not shocked at all. He's so built he's built to be on television, man. Like he is the TNT NHL crew cut from a cloth. Like if they want another dude to cut it up on that NHL on TNT show,
Dude,
Eric Johnson should be the guy.
He's so good. Yeah, he could do NHL on TNT. He could be right next to Biz.
Drop of a hat.
In fact, he would be a star. Like an absolute, like you see, like Henrik Lundqvist, who's good. Anson Carter, we've had Anson on our show. He's good. I'm not trying to throw salt on these guys. Eric Johnson is witty as fuck.
Yeah.
Dude, he is hilarious.
Dude,
some of the liners he threw out there was like, God damn.
Is Ted Turner still kicking? If I'm Ted Turner, I'm hiring that guy tomorrow. So yes, and I'll throw Eric Johnson into the mix. His Stanley Cup championship with the Avalanche. None of those come close to what Mark Springer did last weekend.
Yeah, I ran. Well, it was a just over 30-mile ultra marathon, not just a race, 50K, ultra marathon. And I'll be honest, I ran, I mean, at least 20 miles. It wasn't the full 30. I did have to walk some of it, but that was a beast, dude. I was an absolute.
Hold on, I didn't know this about you. Are you like an avid long distance runner?
No, I mean, I run, but I'm not avid. And
so take away the ultra marathon. What's the longest stretch of mileage that you would do just on a random Thursday?
Longest would be 5 to 6 miles.
Okay, at the most, and you're not humming. There's a few miles in there where you're moving,
nothing crazy.
But like you're not buzzing the whole time.
I'm not
you're
buzzing.
Not Kenyan sprinting this thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So you, without training, ran an ultra marathon in which you have to guzzle down chalupas the whole time.
Yeah, I sure did. It sucked.
It's the coolest fucking athletic feat that anyone has done at altitude, and you can't come close to it.
Yeah, I mean, I essentially got off my couch and did it. I work out and exercise, but I did not train how you should have trained. I'll put it to you that way. Dude, I was dead, but I feel great now. And it's like, in retrospect, it was fun. It was fun as hell in retrospect, but back half of that thing, like I didn't want to be there.
Well, back half. What back half are you talking about? I'm sure both of them weren't doing so great. Okay.
Let's go back to the game. Yeah,
we'll get back to the Avs game. I had to put it out there. Unbelievable.
Thanks,
that
dude.
you just ran an ultra marathon. And you're checking Twitter. Like, I threw it out there. I wanted you to eat a Doritos Locos fiery taco, and you did it the next stop. Like, a man of the people, Mark Springer. I am so proud of you. I almost want to do it with you next year.
Dude, you should. You should. You can do it. I mean, it would suck, but you're an athlete. You could absolutely do
I
it.
run, but I don't run ultra marathons. But I
No,
can
nor
run.
do I. But you got 11 hours to complete it. That's the key.
Dang,
So,
man. Dang. It's
um,
too good. All right. What
yeah,
are the last things
but
that we
the
didn't get
reason I
into
was able
today?
to check and see you suggest the Doritos Locos Taco. Thank God for the breaks. Like I had to eat a copious amount of Taco Bell, but it gave me breaks when I would stop at the Taco Bell. I was like, thank God, a break, so I could check my phone
All right.
and also just breathe. Yeah,
We've talked
abs.
Wedgie. We've talked power play. We've talked McKinnon. We've talked McCarr. I still think McCarr's fighting the puck a touch right now. Wedgwood, obviously phenomenal.
He wins
Josh
them the
Manson,
game. Scott Wedgwood won them this game.
he did.
And that's what DMAC told us, that Jared Bednar said, and of course, spot on. Yeah, man. Okay. Top 6 was not the same as game 1. It was a little sleepier. Maybe we can kind of try to guess or assess why that was the case. I will say this, I thought, and I'm going to talk so much about Gabe Landeskog to start this season as the season goes on. First of all, I'm just fascinated with his comeback story. I mean, it's an amazing story, and I just think there's a reason they missed him and won a cup since he's been out. And it's like, this isn't just some random guy. This is their captain and a great player when he's right. And I thought as this game went on, he drew 2 penalties.
2 trips.
He forced a turnover around the neutral zone, around the defensive zone blue line. He forced a turnover, blocked a shot with his skate late in this game, and was net front when they gave him his first crack on PP1. I thought everyone else in the top 6 was just kind of there. But I thought that Gabe got better as this game went on and showed me something.
I believe you're getting 70 games out of him, man. I think you're getting 70 full. I think he's going to wear the C for Sweden when they take the ice in Italy for the Winter Olympics. Now, there's a lot of dudes who could wear that C, like a lot of dudes on Sweden that are entrenched veterans. Victor Hedman can certainly wear a captain C. Mika Zibanejad maybe could have something like that, but I think that they're going to give it to Gabe. Dude, I think he's going to stay healthy. They're going to slowly ease him back in. He's going to play the same type of hockey that he's always played. Do I think he's going to score 65 points this year? No. I think he's going to be in the 45 to 55 range, and that's going to be more than enough because he's going to do all the little things right that you just mentioned. He's going to draw penalties. He's going to factor in on a bunch of goals because he's net front and he's a screen, and he's not going to show up on that score sheet, right? You're going to have the type of goal that Nathan McKinnon scored today where it is assisted by Cale Makar and Martin Necas, but Gabe doesn't show up on the stat sheet there. He'll have a ton of those goals, which is why I think his plus minus will end up being pretty good. I'd like to see the second line start to click a little bit more offensively, though.
I think part of that is, Gabe played under 12 minutes, 11 to 12 minutes in game 1. And as they're managing. So as Gabe goes, that second line goes. And I think another thing too, now I want to talk about the top line because it's very good in game 1. Well, Marty Necas had a great game. And here tonight, look, Necas had a play in the earlier first half of this game. He was on a power play where he went for the wraparound, big head of steam down the right-hand side, went for the wraparound tuck, kind of lost his edge a little bit. And honestly, good play by Ian Cole, former Avs defenseman, to kind of get into that crease and help out Vejmelka, who was, I think, just a tick late. I thought it was there for Necas if maybe he keeps his edge just a little more, but I do think Cole kind of closed that thing off. Look, Necas has the speed, is a good play. Other than that, that was the only, and that was on the power play. That was the only top line play that even stood out to me at all in this game. It wasn't a big Nathan. I mean, Nathan McKinnon scores the game-winning goal on the power play, but in terms of 5-on-5 and, that head of steam, Nate, like here comes the Bulldog. It wasn't there tonight. I don't know. And part of this, Raj, I think that there is also a conversation here about the Marty Necas contract extension. And you said, let's see what Kyle Connor gets. We just found out today. He got 8 years, $96 million from the Winnipeg Jets. It's the he got the Mikko Rantanen deal. He's going to get 12 per. Look, man, how close to $12 million do you want to give Marty Necas? Because the closer to 12 you're giving him, and I really like Marty Necas. I liked the return they got from Mikko. I think Necas is a good player. But the closer to 12 you pay him, it really kind of does become, why don't you just keep Mikko?
Well, you couldn't have. Mikko Rantanen turned down those offers. He did
You're
not
right.
want to
he got less than he was bargaining
Rantanen
for.
had to sign. People forget about this. Rantanen had to be told no by 3 teams. Not 1, not 2, 3 teams. He had to be told, we're not giving you the contract, Colorado. We're not trading for you because we know that you don't want the contract, Toronto. And Carolina didn't want to pay it for him. 3. There were 3 teams that told him, we're not paying you the money that you and your agent think you are worth. And then when he finally got traded back to Dallas, he realized my market value isn't as high as I think it was. That's the reason why. That's the reason why the Rantanen thing is happening right now. He's an amazing player. He had 2 points tonight, or maybe he had more. Dallas ended up winning.
I know he
5-4.
scored the opening goal for Dallas tonight.
Kyle Connor, fresh off of his 12 million per deal hat trick tonight in a losing effort 5-4. Dallas tried to blow a 5-1 lead this evening in the third period. They didn't. They hold on 5-4. They end up winning that game against Winnipeg. 12 feels like you lost because that's what Mikko ended up getting. Is Mikko 12 or is he 12.5 in Dallas?
I think he's 12 flat, but let me confirm this.
It would make me feel as though you ended up losing that situation.
Yeah, 12. It's the
12.
Both Kyle Connor and Mikko Rantanen signed the exact same deal. 8 years, $96 million.
I'd like to put him at 11.75, but I think it's going to be 12. It's just the way that the cap is exploding right now.
It is. That's another part of this.
Crazy.
Because, who are you in a vacuum? Who are you taking? Mikko Rantanen or Kyle Connor?
Rantanen.
I'm taking Rantanen. And I know, like you said, Kyle Connor had a very good one of his hat trick goals tonight was a shorthanded goal. He's a great player. Mikko's better. But I think Connor gets 8 by 9. Connor gets the same deal that Mikko got because of market inflation just a few months later. And I think Kirill Kaprizov kind of set that tone. And I think that there is this idea of the cap number going up. Although, Raj, it's not going up that much, right? I mean, it's going up, but it's not skyrocketing. And I know it's going to go up year over year, but still not by this crazy margin that, warrants me giving Kirill Kaprizov $17 million per year, whatever. But I think that kind of sets the tone of now everyone wants a little more. And so I'm with you. I'm taking Mikko over Kyle Connor, but they get the same deal because Connor signs just a few months later when the market just went a little crazy. And we could see this same thing with Marty Necas to the point where he's going to get some money where, I like the Mikko deal overall when you look at everything, but if you're paying, and I understand what you said, this is one of those weird catch-22s. Mikko wanted 14, couldn't get it, had to settle for 12.
Right.
Turns out that maybe
it would have been the deal.
It could have just done it here.
They would have done it here. Now you wouldn't have had Jack Drury here.
Which and man, we talked about his face-off numbers and the primary assist. Great point.
You would not have had the ability to bring in Brock Nelson and then extend him in the offseason, right? You would have had to have hoped that he got to market and then essentially probably overpaid a little bit more for him at market. Now, those things would have happened, but what we heralded during the trade was they will now save money so they can go out and get more players. If he signs the same contract, you can't. I know the environment is now different. The ecosystem around the salary cap is now different from when Miko was traded, and it's continuing to rise exponentially. We live in 105, 110 cap world now as we expand this out into the future. I don't think you get to make that argument anymore in terms of like, hey, you won the trade, right? If you signed with the same exact deal, that goes off the table. And then it just becomes about who produces.
No, of course. But now just in terms of, I think the Avs have to be careful with the number they give Natchez.
8 by 11. I'd sign it today. 8 by 11. Right now. I do it right now. He's going to score 100 points this year. He's going to lead the Avs in goals, and he's going to score 100 points. If you lead a cup contender in goals and you score 100 points, you're worth that money.
I know he scored 2 goals in game 1, and I really like him.
He's got 3 points in 2 games.
And remember, Raj, it was a bold prediction of yours. Bold. That he would get to 100. And look, can he do it? Yes, he can. Man, I'd love 10. I'd love to max out at 10.
I don't think we're anywhere. I don't think you're anywhere near 10. I think if you bring 10 to Natchez's camp, they spit on it.
This is tricky.
I want to be there with you, but I can't say that's going to happen.
I mean, there's obviously a reason he hasn't signed the deal yet. He's betting on himself. And hey, game 1 was, and this is the unfortunate thing. Like, man, there's a business to this, right? And the cap is so important. These margins are so thin. What they're gonna have to pay Cale Makar in 2 years.
Yeah, whatever he wants. Does he want 20? Sure. Be my guest. You can have 20.
Does he McDavid this thing in any sort of way?
See, because now the difference between him and McDavid is this. Cale's got a Conn Smythe and a Stanley Cup. McDavid took 12-6 because he's going. He looked at Edmonton and went, fix this over the next 3 years, right? This year and the 2 years of the extension, or I'm leaving. I'm doing my part to make sure that you can.
But he could have just left. He could have just left at the end of the season.
Right. And why would you leave? Right. But why? What he's doing is he's saying, I'm doing my part just to say that, because everyone says that Edmonton doesn't have the team around them, and that is the reason why they haven't won. You don't have the goaltending. You don't have the depth. McDavid is going, fix this. This is your last chance, or I'm leaving 2 years from now because I've given you the cap leeway. The reason why he's doing this is because he wants to win a cup.
No, Cale's already got a cup. But if he because look again, yes, do the Oilers have flaws? Yes, but they've made 2 straight cup finals. That's nothing to sneeze at by any means. In true business theory, McDavid should not have signed that little 2-year bridge extension when Kirill Kaprizov just got $17 million. Connor McDavid should have looked at that. Now, okay, what team was going to give him 18, 19, 20?
Connor McDavid, any team in the league.
But yes. And business-wise, he should have done that.
Well, also, 3 years from now, Connor McDavid will get whatever dollar amount he wants.
But but he's sacrificed those were 2 years. He just sacrificed like $14 million.
Yeah, to try and win.
Yes, he did. No, you're right. He will get his, but it will never be as much as it could have been, like over time.
Yeah, I don't think he cares about the time thing. Like the McDavid camp knows that 3 years from now, when it's time to sell his prized cow, everybody in the county will come bearing gifts and frankincense and myrrh and housing. Like it's going to happen.
But so what Connor McDavid did though is even though Edmonton's imperfect, again, they made 2 straight cup finals, and he knows, because we talked about the teams that I don't even know. I haven't even really looked, but it would be something like a Detroit, maybe not Detroit, but something in that ballpark. Okay. Yeah, you don't have Draisaitl next to you. You don't have some of the other good skaters. There's a goaltending issue with Edmonton, sure. Edmonton gives him the best chance to win. And also he knows that if he's going to charge Edmonton or a team where he wants to win on, north of $17 million going with Kaprizov as the baseline, that kills your cap. And now you can't really win. So what Connor McDavid did, it was a move based on winning. That's what he did.
Yeah, it was a big dick move. It was an awesome winning mentality move. I tweeted out. It's one of my favorite things that any player in the NHL has ever. It's the most Sidney Crosby move that has ever been made in the league, not by Sidney Crosby.
Sure, it is.
And
dude, do we only see this in the NHL? I don't see this in any other sport. I don't see this in any other sport where a player would do something like this.
Dude, there's not many taking those cuts, dude. Now what it does, to get back to Cale, what it does is it kind of throws down a flag of, I'm the best player in the world, if not one of the top 3 between Nate and Cale and Connor McDavid. McDavid throws down his flag and he goes, I'm willing to give up money. Now, it kind of opens up the door for you to look at your superstars and go, if he can do it, so can you.
That's kind of exactly where I was getting at with Cale Makar, because look, in theory, Cale, and let me just say this, I wouldn't begrudge whatever decision he wants to make. He's earned it. Okay.
I could see him making the cut though. He's that type of guy.
If there was anyone with that makeup, that personality makeup, that winning mentality, Cale fits that bill. Because Cale could go, if Kaprizov just got 17, even as a defenseman, Cale could go get at least 17.
Every team in the league would pay him 20 a year if he was on market right now.
Yes. So I'm just saying, let's allow for the possibility that Cale doesn't pull a Connor McDavid and he tries to get his, and the Avalanche say, well, we cannot let you leave because you're a first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the two faces of our franchise. We let Mikko walk with the idea that we cannot lose. Like, this team has to have Nathan MacKinnon and Cale Makar. And let's say, again, Cale does not do what Connor did, and Cale wants his, and now the Avs have to pay him $20 million. Now, all of a sudden, paying Marty Necas $11 million is rougher. This is the game. There's a game of chicken going on here, and it's fascinating. And I don't quite know the answer. I'll be honest.
It's going to be a wild offseason as we wrap this thing up with Marty Necas. The question is, if you don't sign him, what do you do? Because now you're back in the Mikko Rantanen thing, right? Yeah. You're back in the, do you have to trade this guy? And guess who's not going to bring in the type of return that you got last year? Marty Necas doesn't bring in the same type of Gabe Land or of Mikko Rantanen in return. So you are kind of up against a hard place where you go, well, we kind of already played our hand. We've done this before, and now teams will be waiting and just saying, test us. Like, you want that huge package that you got from Carolina. We're not going to do it this time. So it's either you sign the guy or you try and trade him again, or you try and sign a free agent and you let him walk. Like, look at the free agency crop. If you let him walk, who are you going to spend that money on?
I know.
Spend that money on Artemi Panarin?
See, and there's a game of
Adrian
chicken.
Kempe?
There's a game of chicken within the game of chicken. Here's what's going on with Necas and the Avs right now. Necas is betting on himself, and he scores 2 goals, and his agent is probably like, hell yeah.
Here's 100 points.
We're doing
Here's 40 goals.
The Avs they want Marty Necas to play well, but dude, this is going to sound terrible, but I speak my mind, okay? The Avs want Necas to play well. They don't want him to play too well. You know what I'm saying?
They want him to play well. They don't want him to produce.
They want him to play at a $10 million clip. They don't want him to play at an $11 million clip. And let's be like, here's the thing. I think that's what Necas. Necas is a very good player. I want him on this team. He fits. Man, the business side is insane. It's insane.
You know where this gets fixed is if Cale does take a discount and he doesn't just go, I want my huge contract. I want to break the bank. And he does. I'm not saying he does McDavid stuff, right? Because like McDavid kind of left like $7 million on the table per year.
Yeah. For the next 2 years.
I'm not saying Kale's going to leave 7 on the table, but let's say Kale takes a deal that's worth 15 a year. That's worth 16 a year. It opens up the door to letting Natchez at 12 be edible. People forget, man. Like, Sid wasn't the highest paid player on the Penguins almost every single year. You know who was? Evgeny Malkin. The Ruskies don't take pay cuts. And I know that Marty Natchez isn't Russian. I know he's Czech. He's not taking a pay cut.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
So you
but
know
I
what?
think
If he needs to make his money and Kale's like, I'll be Connor McDavid. I'll be Nathan McKinnon because look at Nate. Nate's kind of taking a pay cut as well over the next 8 years. I'll be Sidney Crosby. If it means that Marty stays here and he gets his money and we don't have to deal with the shit that we dealt with Mikko, I will take a little bit less so that we can win in the long term. It might come down to Cale Makar being the best human on planet Earth.
I think the Avs are going to be patient with this. I think they're going to let the sample size of Natchez's season, of his 2025-2026 campaign kind of play out a little bit and let the numbers go in a direction that they think is more what his market should be. Now, one X factor of that, because and look, hey, he scores the 2 goals, and there's some people saying pay him right now. Pay him right now because, and I know, Raj, you got lofty expectations for Natchez, and you might be right because maybe you should pay him right now. Maybe he does go beyond what maybe he actually is because he's playing with Nathan McKinnon.
All right, Spring. I think that's about it for game 2. 2-1 win.
Game 3 is gonna. You thought games 1 and 2 were fun. We're gonna have a hell of a BTP after game 3.
We'll see you guys on Saturday if the Avs take on Mikko Rantanen and the Dallas Stars for Mark Springer. I'm Alex Ryan Emmy. We'll talk to you guys over the weekend. Avs win 2-1. See ya.